Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Finding Balance, which is my new podcast. So, since the first pilot episode is out the way, you guys saw my emotion, you saw the raw things, vulnerable. We're going to go straight into us women, the girl watching this. Because the whole purpose of this podcast is not look at me and what I've done with my life. I am you and you are me. That's literally the whole purpose. Because I wanted to always be that girl. People look at me and be like, oh, if she has it, I can have it. I never wanted to be an influencer who's on a pedestal, like, oh, look what I have. I could get it. And I did all this. No, I've always looked at it as it's ours. If you're watching this is our experience. This is us doing it as collectively as a whole. So with that being said, I really want to focus on us as women and what we see when we're on the internet, what we see in magazines when we were growing up on TV. Because I have a daughter, I'm way more mindful of what I watch, what I consume, and things like the music that we listen to, what we watch, even a background movie while we're on our laptops or when we scroll on TikTok. A lot of us don't realize we soak that up and we put it into our subconscious and it can actually become our reality every day. And that's why it's important to soak up knowledgeable information, something that's going to get you closer to you as a family unit with your friends, being a good person, even closer to God if you're religious, whatever, however you want to put it. But essentially, this whole thing is just to be positive, just to be positive. There's something that I read the other day that basically said misery loves company. So I started to do a deep dive. Like, what? I've always heard that. What is misery loves company? It's basically when somebody's miserable, they want everybody else to be miserable. So we're kind of creating the opposite vibe here. It's like when you watch me, I want you to be motivated. Like, wait, I want to be able to get up and I could do it. Because there's a cliche saying that we have the same 24 hours. So what is the difference? Because somebody could be like, well, you live in Dubai and you have this. I didn't always live in Dubai. You have money. I never always had money. I never got anything handed to me. And I did start, I would say, from the bottom up. And I've always looked at it as there's more to this. There's more. There's more. If you're settling right now, stop it. Nobody's gonna come to save you. You gotta put yourself into the mindset of what you want to become. How do you see yourself? What's your vision for you? You are your mood board. And whatever you consume should be elevating you and motivating you to do better and be better. With that being said, we're gonna dive into the toxicness and the double-edged sword of social media. If you're in your 20s right now, this is gonna be so amazing because I wish I was told this in my 20s. You're scrolling and you look at the girl with the vacations, all her highlights are different places she's been to. We're not judging here. We're literally just talking about what a lot of people think. They have the perfect bodies. They have the nicest handbags. They have the latest everything. And then they post their man getting them flowers, creates, all this. And you're just looking there and they're saying, we're not on a vacation. They're not posting who they're with. You need to stop comparing yourself to the girl that you see on Instagram. That's all I'm saying. Because for me, I've always looked at it. I've always been aware. Like, I always look at it like, oh, how did that person get that? And I've never been, why don't I have that? Because comparison is really the thief of joy. If you're comparing your life to somebody else's, you're going to end up in a loop, an endless cycle, a loop over and over and over again because you're constantly comparing. You're comparing your day 1 to somebody's day 1,000. I'm probably at my day 5,000 of success and I'm reaching for day 10,000, but I'm not going to compare myself to somebody who's already made it. And that's the whole thing with what I started with, making my own money. I've always been the grinder who's like, I'm going to make my own money. But it's not the kind of money that it's going to be there and I could go to these cute places, cute boutiques, take a few vacations a few times a year. But what we really need to focus on is how we're going to take success to a new level because we do have the same 24 hours. I don't care how cliche that sounds because we do. And if you're a mother or if you're a student or if you're a girl who's struggling to make ends meet, you're a single mom, you have a family, or if you're married and you feel like you're a single mom, because that happens. Sometimes you could be in a relationship, but you literally feel like you're solo. Everything is the mind because the only person who's coming to save you is yourself. You have to get out of the gritty mindset of being a victim of things going on around you. You could literally make your life so much more amazing. All you need is an internet connection and a mobile phone. The word rich and broke, when I use those two terms, and if I ever use the word poor, I've never used it as physical money. It's always a mindset. I'm like, oh, that's so poor. That's so brokey. You could be dripped out in the latest designer. I'm going to call you broke because of your mindset. Your mindset. If I see a negative thing coming out your mouth and you have $1 million, broke mindset. Broke and wealth is a mindset first, because your thought becomes a reality. You plant something, you water it. And the watering is you gaining knowledge. You're reading books. You're only opening your apps on social media for positive knowledge, for good things. Why are we watching negative things? The first thing I did to elevate my life, I stopped gossiping. Like, I don't want to know what she's doing. I don't want to know how much she got paid for what she did. I don't want to know these things. Your circle is so important. You're going to lay down rules in friendships, even same way you had rules for when you date a man. You're going to have the same in your circle. We're so quick to get mad at a man who doesn't listen to us, but why are we not calling out our friends? Why are we not calling them out on their shady behavior? If my friend comes up to me and ever talks about a girl, oh my God, did you see what she did? Did you hear this about her? The first thing I'm gonna shut you down. I'm gonna shut you down. Be like, are we really doing this right now? We're gonna talk about another female. We're not gonna do this. We are not gonna do this. And if I see something on the internet I think is weird or I don't like it, I'm never gonna drop a negative message or send it to my friend and make fun of the person. I scroll past and now I've forgotten it. It's gone. It's out of my mind. We're feeding our souls the way we're feeding our body, and whatever we consume, we become. So when it comes to making money, it has to be a mindset of, I'm making generational wealth. I don't want $100,000 all at once. I'm like, yes, I made it. You want consistency. If you think you can make $1 million a month, you can. The first thing is, where do I go? You're going to teach yourself. You're going to educate yourself. You're going to look into how I'm going to do this. A lot of men are quicker to make money than women is because they think of logic and we think of emotion. We're not willing to take risks. I'd rather take a risk than be broke in every aspect. Because if we're only risking $400 to invest and we're scared of $400, I'd rather have that fear in me for $400 than never ever make the 5,000 out of the end goal. That's me. And that's how I got to where I am exactly right now. When I was 15 years old, I was working in a salon in England and I was getting paid off of tips. So my job was basically shampooing the clients, taking out foils, conditioning them, putting them under the dryer. Sometimes I would do rolls, like the roll, I don't remember the name, making the teas, coffee, serving the drinks. And I was working on tips and I was like, and I never looked at myself like, oh, this is beneath me, because that's where we go wrong. Why are we automatically being like, I don't want to do that. This is beneath me. Throughout all your whole life, you have to remain humble and think nothing is beneath you. We all start somewhere. Never be ashamed of that, because these little jobs that we have first that are paying us almost nothing are what motivates us to where we want to get to. When you are in school or you want your degree and you want all these things out of life and you're just looking at the timeline, because as women we're always thinking about time. We're always thinking this is taking time. How long do I have to lose weight? How long do I have till I can have kids? When I'm going to find the perfect man? We're always thinking we're running out of time. We're not. We're not running out of time. We are not. When you focus on just you, and you just have a tunnel vision of yourself as a woman, you could get yourself out of any mindset. You wake up in the morning and you make a routine. There's a book I'm currently reading called The 5-Second Rule. It's by a podcaster and an author called Mel Robbins. She's really amazing. I read one of her other books that's called Let Them. So this book is basically her talking about the 5-second rule. And she used it to transform her whole life. She did a TED talk on it. You can look it up. And basically, she used this when a rocket is going into space, right? It has a countdown. And it's like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you cannot go back. They cannot be like, okay, reverse that. We're sending it back. No, once it's off, it's off. She gave herself that when she woke up in the morning. So she's like, I wake up, and you don't want to bed rot. We want to be like, okay, I need to get out of bed. I need to get things done. This is what I mean. We have the same 24 hours. Use them wisely. You get up, don't look at your phone. Don't pick your phone up. If you use it for alarm, fine, but just don't don't scroll. We're not going to do that when we wake up. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to have gratitude that we have another day to live. The first thing, prayer. Okay? Then we're going to be like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're going to make yourself get up. The way that's going to make you jump out of bed, try it. Tell me. And you use that for everything. Whether you're going to email someone, a job op, you want an investment deal, you have to take the leap. You have to do it. Because my mom would say, what's the worst they could say no? If you have that mindset, what's the worst they could say no? What's the worst they could do and not get the job? What's the worst that can happen? And no, rejection is the worst thing that could happen in this moment. And then what? You build, you just keep going, you keep going. So I live in a city where it's rich. You see so much wealth around me. We see some of the top 1%. And a lot of them are men. And it's men that are getting the boats, the cars, the cute life. And I always thought, I don't want the rich man, because Cher would be like, Mom, I am the rich man. I wanted to be the rich man. When you have this mindset of being the rich man first, the way you can control your whole life, you control what kind of quality of people you're letting in. You could become more picky of who you're picking because you already have the wealth. And now you're just gonna look for simply things like just love. Imagine just going out there and just looking for pure love, and that's it. Because you already have things that you want already. So when you focus on having to reach your goals financially, everything else is like it literally just comes. It just comes to you because whoever said money doesn't buy happiness, they haven't experienced what it can do for you. And the way people stress over it shows. So we need to not stress over it. We need to look at social media is a double-edged sword. What are you going to do with it? We are in an era where we have technology, we have AI, we have so many things that could help us to elevate to the next level. And with us being women and also me having a daughter, we want to create a good life for the next generation. We don't want them to have the trauma that we have. We don't want to have the saying, oh, that guy's being mean to you because he likes you. We're not going to teach our daughters that. We're going to teach our daughters in the new generation that having your own is the best freedom you could get. We're not going to settle. We're not going to chase after. See, the thing is, I didn't make this to defend anyone because we're just going to find balance. We're continuously finding balance because our hormones are even not in balance as women. Like we go through so many cycles in life. So this podcast is for the girl who is finding herself, but also wants to get herself out of the gutter of the mind that she's in. Everything's a mindset. So if you're the girl who wants to focus on getting a rich man and sprinkle, and finessing a man, this podcast is not for you. There's so many other women who are going to teach you how to marry the rich man and get the $1 million. There's so many things you could find. This is going to be how to heal you, how to heal your feminine, how to heal the inner you, and then the way you could attract the amount of wealth. The amount of wealth you can attract for yourself that even your ancestors will be like, we're doing this for our mothers, our grandmothers, their mothers, the generational that was before us who didn't have the freedom that we have. We have freedom to change overnight. That's why I love living in a city where I look around me. I'm like, I don't want to be with that rich man. I want to be that rich man. So when I was looking at my guy friend and they were making this money with crypto, I'm like, why can I not be that? Why can I not do that? What is stopping me? First thing I did, I started ordering books on investments. What is the best thing? Is it stocks? And then when I came across day trading and I really did a deep dive, I'm like, oh, wow. Because if somebody's going to tell you, because I've been scammed before of money, oh, I can double your money. You're going to be like, why would you want to help me? Why? Because you're just going to get money out of me and you don't hear from them. So when I started learning about how to make money, I started reading books on how to invest. What is stocks? What is crypto? What am I going to get out of it? And I don't want it to be like a one-time thing. I want it to have longevity where it's going to keep going, going, going. So when I got my first, I think, $50,000 off of day trading, I'm like, wait, all this is what? It's just buying and selling foreign currency. And then if you read how much goes into day trading a day and you're making out of day trading $1,000 a day, you're literally making nothing. I know it's a lot when you first start, like, wow, I made $1,000, but around $17 trillion goes into day trading. And out of that, you got 1,000. There's people who are making $100,000 a month to $1 million out of this. But as women, we're going to think about us being moms, our families. How many of you guys have your future kids' names in your notes? Don't lie. You have it because I have a whole list of names. Women, we think ahead because naturally we're nurturers. We think ahead. We're not going to be reckless with our savings. We want to be able to put some aside to think about our future. We don't want to be in a horrible situation. And if you're a mom, you're going to do anything to give your child the best life. You want your child to see the world, vacations, these little luxuries of life is beautiful. And we're lucky enough to have the opportunity to do these things. So I started learning on how to open trades, close trades, and look at the charts. And there's a book that I started reading about it called Day Trading for Dummies. It's really, really good if you haven't read it. And then I was self taught. So then I was self taught, and I noticed the first thing men do is they want to get flashy cars, chains, women, clubs. Fine, amazing. If that's your nature, then that's your nature. But the first thing I did is I started investing in other things. And I don't want to spend recklessly. I want to go into property. I want to do different things with it. I want to give my daughter a good future. I want her to have a good college, a trust fund. We all want this for our kids. So when I learned about day trading, I started telling my friends about it. And then my sister, I was like, this could really transform your life if you look into it, and you could do it and your day's done for, and you've already made a $5,000 in a day, and then you could be done for the week, and you could like, I'm done for the week. And when you see the numbers grow and grow and grow, and you're like, "Yeah, I could actually see myself doing this for a long time." You just gotta grasp. Once you grasp it, it's gonna be so easy after. And a big believer in having a connection with God. And I have a big guilt trip. I always feel guilty over if I see a crying baby. One of the reasons why I don't watch the news is if I watch a starving baby or kids being killed, I will be in such a dark place for a week. I will cry. Like I won't get out of it because I'm so sensitive. I feel bad so easily. So one time I had a girl who she messaged me on Snapchat, and I opened her message and she sent me a paragraph of like how her electricity is getting turned off. She has a son, and it wasn't even a sob story. It's like I could feel her. This is before I was a mom, and I could feel her situation. And I don't want to be like, oh, I have enough money to just help all these women. I didn't have. I was still making my money then. I was like, how about I give you some money and I could teach you how to invest with that. So I gave her the money to invest with. I gave her like I think $600. I was like, you use that. Try day trading and try flipping that for at least 3K. You will be good. Like I don't want to just give you this one bill and then there's gonna be another bill for you. Like you know what I mean? I try to give her like a way out of it. So 2 weeks go by, 3 weeks go by. I'm like, wait, I hope she's good because I lost her contact. Once somebody messages you on Snap and it goes, it disappears. She emails me, and when she emails me, she tells me about how she learned day trading from my little tutorial that I gave her and the money that I gave her, and she ended up making like £6,000 from that. And since then, she's been good. And these are stories that make me happy. It's literally the opposite of misery loves company. Whatever the opposite of that is, that's what I am. I also love when it's a Friday night and I'm at home cozy and I can hear people blasting music in their car going to the club because I'm like, yes, you go have your fun. Life is beautiful. I've always been that person where I love people having fun. I love watching people get good news. I love watching those TikToks where men are blessing people with money in the streets who are homeless or raising money for them. That is my guilty pleasure. I don't watch trash TV. My guilty pleasure is literally watching other people get blessed. So if I could do that a little bit and teach girls how to be girl bosses, I'm gonna do that. I don't even sell courses. I mean, I should if I had the time, but I don't. I'm literally juggling from being a mom, day trading, and being an influencer. And all I do is let girls copy and paste my trades and we close them together and boom, we have £6,000 in a week. So 2026, I really want to focus on making bigger numbers. I really want to be a boss man. Wouldn't be I want to make man money. And I always say this because the sky is not the limit. There's things beyond the sky. I believe in faith over fear. Fear is what stops us as women. When we think in fear, we're instilling our brain to think that something's gonna go wrong. And that's where anxiety comes from. Anxiety comes from demons. So anxiety is something that making us think about something that hasn't happened yet, which is negative. So we think about what if this could happen? What if that could happen? But what if it all works out? I taught one of my friends, I said, told her, anytime you have a negative thought, why don't you just be like, but what if it just works out? But what if it all just works out? Then what? It all worked out. Everything's fine. And being a woman is already hard. Childbirth, periods, PCOS, a lot of women have depression, anxiety, infertility, not finding a good man. There's so many things. And then life also hits us because we're in society, we're the inferior gender. I think that's the word, but we're not because we create life. If we can create life with our body is so amazing, and God's given us this amazing ability to do the things that we do. And we have things like instincts. That's literally a spiritual gift. How many of us feel things before they happen? How many times have you had a dream that your boyfriend's cheating on you and you caught him? I get signs all the time, and I get the signs and I'm like, that's, and men don't have that. Men don't have spiritual intuition, and they don't have it. We have it. When your mom said this in my last episode, when your mom tells you she doesn't like something or she tells you to wear a coat. And there's an example. I was in school and my dad had told me wear a coat, it's gonna rain. And that day was the hottest day of the year. I put it in my locker and I was like, my mom knew when it was gonna snow. Probably because she watched the weather, but it's moms are always right. Because why? Because we're women. We know these instincts is a God given. So before you make a decision, pray on it. 5-second rule, and just get to it. Like I said, I'd rather be take a risk than be broke. Would you not? The mindset needs to change first. You think of a wealthy mindset. Meet your future self halfway. Meet her halfway. That's all. Misery loves company is how I navigate and deal with hate, because if you are miserable, even like bad news sells more. If you look at anything, you open the news, it's always going to be something negative. And people love to come together and just talk about negative things. And you know how much that lowers your vibration? Because energy is a real thing. Energy is real. If you wake up and you're constantly looking at gossip sites or negative news, or on Snapchat, there's those like gossip where it has like a clickbait for you to click on it. How many of us click on it when it's something negative? Like, you're gonna click on girl gets caught with secret life over girl made $1 billion in a year. Because I know that's facts. Because sometimes I used to do it, and now I have like conviction. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that because I have a daughter. Like, I have to keep going back to that. Misery love company means, if those of you who want a clear answer, when someone is unhappy, bitter, or struggling, because I wrote this earlier, they often feel comforted when others are unhappy too, or they may try to pull others into the same negative mindset. So if you ever had a bad experience with anyone in your family or friends and they're negative and they want you to feel that, it's because misery loves company. In simple terms, it's basically people in pain sometimes don't want to be alone in it, because loneliness and pain makes you feel like poop. You want others to experience it with you, but oh, I have something in common. They're hurting. Like, that's what I did in the last episode. I was hurting, so I wanted other people to hurt, and then I came and had accountability. They'd be like, "That's not right." But seeing others struggle can make their pain less isolating. It feels that way for them. I often said to explain negative behavior, gossip, or dragging others down. So, example would be someone who's unhappy in their relationship might discourage you from being happy in yours. Misery loves company. So if any of my friends ever come to me and they're like, "Oh, my boyfriend did this, my partner did this," and they're just like saying all these things about them, I'm like, "But didn't he do this for you last week? And he take you on this vacation last week?" Like, I switch the subject to something positive, because at the end of the day, I don't want to be on the screen telling you, "Screw men, they're horrible. We don't need them." We do need men. We literally need them. I'm a firm believer that a man is the head of the household. He's a pillar, and you need a good man to support you. It doesn't have to be financially, it can be mentally, because I'm not going to put this pressure on, oh, he needs to, the first date, he needs to be a millionaire. Yeah, I don't have the 50-50 mindset. I don't have that. But I'm very traditional. I like the idea of like a man plays a man's role and a woman plays a woman's role, and we're both on emotion. So I'm gonna flip that when my friends ever come to me and speak negatively about their man. I'm gonna make an excuse for him, just in case. I'm not gonna take his side, but I'd be like, "But what about this? I understand, but what about this?" And I would expect them to do the exact same for me, because men are not our enemy, and they're not all bad. I mean, they're annoying, but you know what I mean. So it's more an observation. It's not an excuse. And it usually is a reminder to protect your peace. So we're protecting our peace in 2026. I am big on faith, heavily big on faith, because I found myself living in a lot of sin, and sin can be different to different people. To me, sin is, or anything negative, is just to be apart or away from God. Because I'm not the kind of person to be like, "Oh, you're gonna go to hell." Because to me, hell is just absence of God, and heaven is to be with God. It's a feeling. So the reason why I always go to prayer and everything, even in the worst times, is because I don't think that we should be put into a box based off of religion because we all believe different things. But to me, it's not about religion, it's about relationship with God. The relationship with God is the one who made you. He loves you. And to take that 5 seconds out to just praise the Lord and be like, thank you for another day. Thank you for the air that I breathe in the morning. Thank you for letting me experience richness. He made us rich, roof over our head, us having warmth, our parents, children, all these things. And I learned to not blame God in negative situations at all, ever. Because the one who could give it could also take it away. I'm always going to look at God as the provider. So it's not about religion, it's about the relationship with God because religion has rules and it can be intimidating sometimes when people fight over it. One thinks they're right, the other one thinks they're right. And people debate about religion for centuries, even now. But the whole purpose is unity. And we all come together and think all we're trying to do is have a relationship with God. The relationship with God, if you find religion or faith as you look at God as a genie, that's not what we're doing here. God does answer prayers. He does hear you. He does see every tear. He does see the struggle, but it's not about, I'm going to pray because I want something. I'm going to pray because I'm thankful. There's this prayer that I do really often and I'm like, God, I'm not here to ask for anything. I'm just here to say thank you. And that's my prayer. And that's all I say. And you know what made me really close to God? And I was saying this to God the other day, and I speak to God every single day and I speak to him. I call God my father. We all have a different relationship. So I talk to him and I'm like, hey, God, I just wanted to say that thanks for making me a mother because I finally understand your love. Because before I had my daughter, I didn't understand God's love. Like, all I look at God is love. I don't look at him as a strict person in the sky, like as if a lot of when people say things like sky daddy, I don't look at God as, oh, he's going to punish me. I look at God as a relationship. So my success comes from, of course, believing in God. Everything, all glory goes to God with everything I have. But it's building that relationship with him makes me realize that he's a purpose and a reason to why I have what I have. Motherhood taught me that success never could would be humbleness because I don't think that I understood the word humble. Like I say it and use the term so loosely, but I finally understand what it means to just be grounded. And because with children, they don't know what is rich and what is poor. They don't know, oh, I have the latest Fendi jacket. They don't care. You give them sticks and mud and they're okay with it. So I learned being a mother how little things mean so much, like company and spending time with your family. And it's not about them having the latest sneakers, the latest shoes, or looking the best in school. It's about you giving them comfort and love and just nurturing them. So I learned humbleness and the true meaning of love and just to be there as a parent. I am an independent woman. I don't ask anyone for anything in any moment. I'm not a crier. I always just get emotional when it comes to faith because I never thought I could be saved from the worst situations. And here I am. I'm talking to a camera after I've been through some of the worst things in life. And I am trying to encourage and motivate others that it does get okay. It is okay. And prayer is powerful. And I even have this on my phone case. Actually, I have this phone case that says, the Lord is on my side. I will not fear. What can man do to me? So we need to stop worrying because worrying is worshiping the problem. We're not going to worship the problem. We're going to worship God only. And don't fear people, their things, what they think. I mean, don't fear what they're gonna think because we all seem to care what people think. What are they gonna think? What are they gonna let them think all these things of you because all that matters is your relationship with God. Are you doing your good deeds? Good deeds meaning what? I'm giving to charity. I'm being a good person. You're being a good person is subjective at this point. Like, are you just being obedient? And once the thing is, if you actually truly have a relationship with God, you're naturally going to want to become a better person because you don't want to disappoint God. You don't want to come towards God being a bitter person or 5 minutes ago I was backbiting somebody and now I'm like, hey, God, it's me. We're not doing that either. You do get a lot of negative and a lot of hate. And you know what saddens me the most is the reason why I always say I don't say anything negative about men all the time is because the hate comes from other females. Instead of you being like, oh, she is an escort or a man gave her that she has this because of a man, why not be like, oh wow, that's amazing, she did that, she earned that much money, she got out of a dark place, I can do that. Because this is not about what I've done or what I've achieved or how much I've made. It's about you seeing yourself in me. That's me in a year. That's me next week. I could be here. Being independent, Finding Balance podcast is us. It's you. It's me. And what costs is a lot of people are going to think negatively of you because you're doing something good. Something good's coming out of it. Women are always told you have to struggle for success. You have to have a 9 to 5. There's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5, but you don't have to struggle. You have to be miserable in the work that you chose. You don't have to be miserable to make your money. And it could come so smoothly to you. It could come so smoothly if you importance of educating yourself and knowledge. Knowledge is power. You need to remember that knowledge is power, because once you have a little bit of knowledge, you are indestructible when it comes to making money. You will find different ways to make money, and it's going to feel so amazing once you reach that. So everything has to just be flipped and work in your favor. You have to keep flipping it. For 2026, I hope that we can all focus on building a relationship with God, because that will make you feel so much lighter. And I want to continue to do that because I'm raising a child. And not only that, I'm online all the time. So I want to create more content. I want to create more of this. I want to create more beauty content. I want to invest in more property, but also I want to work on myself and work on healing. We have a lot of healing to do. We're always constantly going through this. We need to heal. We need to connect more with nature. We need to give ourselves space. Sometimes it's okay to be alone and just allow God to talk to you. We need to have that time with ourselves to understand what we want out of life. And I don't want to give myself a New Year's resolution. I don't want to say I want this by this time. I surrender to God, and I always say, whatever you think is best for me, I will continue to receive that. Thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I hope it wasn't too long or annoying. This is us. This is all us. Finding Balance is about all of us. I hope you have an amazing holiday with your family or whoever you're spending it with. And if you're alone, I'm always a message away. I'm always a voice note away. I love you guys. And if you haven't already subscribed or comment, whichever, and I hope you have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.